Good evening everyone and welcome back to Mr. Bravo's workshop. I'm been in the mood for modelling today because I haven't been here all week. So I'm just continuing on with what we finished up in our last episode, which was cutting all these off and cleaning them up. They're all cleaned up. We'll have to put one piece away in the box. These two have to be hand painted before we can put these two together. So let's get on with that. So we're going to use the XF82. I don't have much of it left. I will have to go down and get some more. We're only hand painting these because they're a tiny little piece and they actually stop me from continuing on further with the flue. So right now I'm just going to put some paint on those. Oop, can you still see? Yeah, put some paint on those and we'll blow those holes out. That one there, if not, we'll just pop it. Can I turn it around? Oh, maybe. Why not? So in the lid, we'll just do this side, just roughly. And there as well. I mean, I probably could have airbrushed these, but these will be dry by the time I got set up there. We'll just paint the back of that as well. There we go. Probably not too worried about the little piece I'm hanging on to. Just, I think that gets swallowed up by the model anyway. So that's kind of what I'm after. Just, just something to separate it, the different greys. And it is a little bit different, but not that much different. So there's those two pieces painted. We'll just let them go off. And now we'll continue the flue. So I showed you this in the last episode, but I'll show you again. So this is the flue section 9. It does look like we push the two main pieces together, add the front one, and then set up the jig at the back and push it all in. That's the way I read it. So this does have a couple little locating points. They're very tiny and it's very easy to slip out of it. So what we'll do is now I've actually got it together. I'm just going to put some glue on each end that I can get a hold of, wait for that to go off, and then I'll attack it just a little bit more. So I got glue on all the outside edges. Now I'll just go through and put some on in the middle. Now I'm confident that it's all held together. I can just put plenty in there now. Not really worried too much about the inside, so yeah. We'll give that a half a minute to go off. Well, this was not the best to fit, this front piece. I've been mucking around with it probably for a good 5 minutes. And I probably should really put the flue on to see if it fits. Sometimes when they do that, I don't really see the point in that. You've already made 3/4 of the piece. You leave one piece out, which can either make or break your model, just like the last one. And yeah, you've got to put extra time in it and fix it up. Anyway, we got it on there. It's just for the younger people, I see this as being harder for them. That's all. That's why I mentioned it. So just dry fitting that seems to fit all right. So we'll glue this one. Oh, it's a little loose actually. So we'll glue this one in, and that way we can put those crane arms in and then attach the top piece, which should lock it all together. Or, that should work. If you're putting this piece on and you're doing this kit, you would be very tempted to put these cranes into these holes. They do not go into those holes. There is another set of holes underneath which they go into. So just be wary if you're doing this kit. I was looking at going, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, anyway. So they're movable. So what we'll do, we'll just glue down that top floor now and we'll just set them off. We'll do that right now if you like. Don't need that much glue on it. Prefer to keep them open for the time being. And a little squashed, if I might add. bit of forcing down on the floors onto each other. That'll create some rigidity for this. So that one's good, but this one's not. Let's work on this one. Just squeezing that one down and in. Well, if he wants to be too loose, we know how to fix him up. Alright, so that's that section done at the back, and then we've got to put this section in at the front. Much just like that. Look at that. It's made for each other. Almost. Let's try and get that in. Here we go. We are in. Kind of like that piece. Somebody put some thought into that. Alright, let's glue him off. Just doing a dry fit of the spider. Yeah, it seems to fit alright. We will take it off though to do black, so put that in my little container. That's section 9 finished of the flue, so we'll move forward. Okay, it looks like section 10 was fitting it. It was a little fiddly, but I did get it in. And then we need to just block off the end pieces down there, which I've got them off and cleaned up. So I'll glue this section in, and then we'll block them off while we've got good access. So I'll do that right now. Okay, all I'm going to say about gluing that piece is take your time. It was quite fiddly to get everything down and all the way around, and the little cap pieces on. If you're doing this model, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Just take your time and it all goes together. Okay, so that is 10 done. Let's move on to section 11, which looks like just in front of that we need another few more pieces. E43, 44 and 126, and I would say, oh, and a few other little bits and pieces. So I'll get all them out, just so you know what I'm talking. So section 11's got, you know, quite a few pieces here, over here, down here. So there's a few little pieces there to grab. So I'll grab all those. Okay, there's almost two parts to this 10. There's this front section and then there's the rear section. So what we'll do the front section first. And before we do that, we'll try and work out where those little pieces go. So these little ones just here go in somewhere. Where are we? 1, 2, 3 back, somewhere just here. Well, that's one of those pieces in. It was a little confusing. So if you face the, this is the front towards you, then the long piece must go towards the back and in, and it creates some kind of vent in there, which is just here. Let's see if I can get that a bit clearer. Just in here. And it would be very difficult to do this if this was already on the boat and you're holding the boat, and just, this does make it a little easier. Now we've got to put the other side on. So there's that without the other side. And I'll show you how it drops in. So basically it drops in, turn that one around. It drops in like that, in there, and then glued up. So we'll glue that now. Hopefully you've seen that. Yeah, I'm struggling with this camera a little bit today. It's not as clear as it normally is. So we'll just glue that as well. And also we'll glue the top piece, and then we'll just close that lid up there, because that's a really big lid now. Try and close it down. So you've got two choices. You lift the other one up and close it on down. Oh, it does grab, but it's not easy. There's a bit more glue on there. Okay, let's just use the old nails to hold that one down. Okay, I'll have to hang on to that for a few minutes. So what we'll do now is we'll start to work the structure up here for the next piece to go on. We'll do either side first, and then we'll put the front piece on, much like the way we've been going already. So there's one side on, and we'll fit the other. A little fiddly, just it wasn't the best of fits, and it sort of wanted to pop off. So we just sort of mucked around with it a bit more, and I suppose we get there in the end. Same with this one here. We'll just fit that one up. Yeah, that's it. While I got you here, I'll just quickly glue it. So glue the main part first, and then I'll glue the rear bit. I'll take some of the excess off. A bit more on the front there, up on the side there, and then we pretty much send it home. And the reason I did those is I went to glue the front first, and there was nothing there to hang on to it, so it sort of made sense to go this way. So that's now on, and there's the front dry fitted, and while it's in that position and doing pretty good, let's send him home too. Up there and the side there, yep, that'll do it. Beautiful. Sometimes what I like to do is, see these little gaps here. If I can close them up, I do. And if I can't, I'll generally just hit it with a little lick of glue on the outside. It's generally enough to just nudge that one in. Are you on camera? Yes, you are. Don't forget, we can always nudge that one back that way too. That's it. Close it up. That'll do it. Other side's not bad, but we will still give that a little bit of a lick as well. Just a little one. Where are you? Just in there. Just helps the seam, close the seam off nicely. So that's ready to go for the next floor. It's just doing a dry fit of the floor. It fits pretty good. There's not too much to worry about there. So I suppose when we glue it down, we'll just have to hang on to it and just set it off. It's a good look. It's a good fit. Nothing too awkward at the moment. So there's that floor. It's now on. Looks like we've got two more structures to build up here. But before we go any further, this was a two-part, this number 11. So there's some D parts to go on the back. So we'll quickly get them out. It's very quickly taking shape. I'm sure you'd agree. It's looking nice. I know we're technically cheating, but it's a 1/700 ship, and yeah, trying to paint all these small pieces would just, do your head in. So one of those pieces from 11 is now gone in the box. I've marked it off, the part, and what page it's on. It's a light. So we'll put the light away to be painted, but the dome, that's a good question. Do we need to do the dome as well? I think we should probably paint the dome. Let me just double check where it goes. Oh, I see. Looks like it goes on the side of the flue here. If that's the case, then that's a no, because we want the same colour. But I will double check that. Okay, this is one of those gun towers or something. I've seen it on the I'm actually seeing it on a bigger ship. These roll open. This is one side, it's open, and I do believe the other side is closed. So that's kind of how it works. And again, if you're facing this towards yourself, it would be the right side. And I guess that's why they have port and port side, so there's no confusion. Anyway, I'll put the other side on now. I was just thinking about that second. I think it's port and starboard, to be honest. I'm just going to use a little bit of Revell on this one, only because it was a little difficult to fit. Probably not as difficult as the other side, but this stuff buys me a little bit of time, and it's kind of sticky in itself. So that was a little easier to put on. And now that it's on, I'll just give that a dab up here, just to flood some glue around it, just to make sure it went off. I mean, there's plenty of glue on there, but you can see the look. It's quite nice. That's 11 done. Let's move on to 12. we back to the rear on this section? Or here we are actually. That's working from the rear backwards now. We'll get all those pieces out. Okay, this section 12, I'm going to kind of do it in two different pieces. So we'll do these lower sections first, and then we're going to build on top of that. And we're going to turn the ship around now to do work on the backside. So what I did on this one here, I pretty much just rested this one here and put this piece in, and I just tabbed this side, and then I tabbed this side, only because I wasn't sure how it was going to end up if I had to push this one all the way back, and I'm quite glad I did that because there's quite a big gap. This is already all the way back, and there's a small gap there. So that turned out to be the correct move. Now that it's on, now I'll glue it down and in to close up these gaps just here. Okay, he's now glued home. So what we'll do, we'll add the next piece now, which looks like the top one here, which has to be facing the same way with this one out, much like that. Look at that, fell on. Now, I know I painted all the decks on this ship, and I'm actually quite happy with it, and even with the slightly different tones, because, you know, different wood, different degrees. If this had have had a real timber floor, this is a really nice looking ship. There's a lot of deck on this ship, and it sets it off. It's quite nice. So there's the next piece on, number 75. Just make sure he's home all the way. He's home all the way. Now, we've got a few B pieces now, B and C. So B39, C30, 133, and C132, and 135. Yes, okay, we'll grab those pieces out. Okay, there's all the parts off, and let's get them on there. So the first one on is the B139. Okay, there it is there, the B139. I'll put that on with some Tamiya cement, just to, it's quite a big hollow piece, and all those big hollow pieces, I'd much prefer that. So that's now on. So that little piece is now on. It's a bit wet, still a little fragile. We need to put a cap on that of some sort. So we'll do that right now. Okay, we just fitted the radar, and it's very, very loose. And there's multiple ways that this can be not square. So just got to wait for that glue to go off. It definitely goes on there. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's a mast or something goes on top of it afterwards. So that's all the way in. Yeah. Now I put Revell on the back of that to give me some move time. And then I just put some extra thin just to help me set it off. And I also know that the Revell's quite tacky, so it wasn't going to really fall off. So we just need to give that an extra 10 minutes. While I'm waiting for that to go off, I have noticed that in the camera, the floor looks extremely dark, and it is nowhere near as dark as it is in the camera. I don't know why that is. I know the floor is a bit wishy-washy anyway, but that's kind of like the look that I wanted. But not all timbers are the same. So yeah, anyway, let's get on to the next piece. We are almost out of time, so probably got time for one more. Have a quick look. Actually, there's about 10 pieces on the next one, number 13 over here. I think what we'll do is, we're at almost 20 minutes, so we'll call it a day there for now. And once again, I hope you enjoy this episode. It is much further along. And hopefully I can catch you on the next one. Bye for now.